Morning. It is certainly a pleasure to be here with you. I was thinking, what would I say as I do an icebreaker this morning, and I don't have a clue, but to say that things fell in place just properly. When I came in, I didn't know what we were going to do about the video and how we were going to be able to make this presentation work, but then the man showed up, Brother Chris back there. He showed up and said, well, you got nothing to worry about. And I was reassured that he know everything to do about that good stuff, and we've got it all set up here to go. I am Roger Chambers, and I am a graduate of the Memphis School of Preaching. However, I'm back at the Memphis School of Preaching doing a World Mission Program. And it is my pleasure to be there also, and I thank God always for that institution. It's a wonderful place to go. It's a good place to get educated, because what we're educated in there is the most important thing in the world. And I'm very grateful for all of the instructors and all of the supporters who make it possible for us to study at that institution. While I'm here today, I will be preaching with you at the appropriate time, but at this time I'm going to make a presentation with you because I'm a student in the missionary program, but also I'm already a missionary, and I've been working in Malawi. This is my third year working in southeastern Africa in a country that is called Malawi. Malawi is also addressed as the warm heart of Africa. It's a very peaceful place, and as you know, if you have any knowledge of Africa, you know that peace is hard to find sometimes. It's a very corrupt place. The government is corrupt. There's a lot of things that go on there that should not go on. And a part of that is the reason why you have such hunger and poverty and different things like that go on in those countries in Africa. Malawi is also very good ground for spreading the gospel. That's what I want to place the most emphasis on, is the fact that when I go there, we baptize people. We do all three things that are required of a Christian to do, and that's evangelism, edification, and benevolence. And each one of those, we make it our business to make it important to get it done, because it's very difficult to think that it would be okay to evangelize and preach to people who are very hungry and don't give them something to eat. If we can share some of what we've got with them while we're there, that's what we're there to do also. I've got a clicker here, and I think that it's working for me. If you're looking at the screen right now, that is Brother Patrick Insulara. And the Insulara name, the last name that he got, begins with an N. I couldn't believe. I said, well, why do you pronounce your name like that? And the N is N-S-A-L-I-R-A. And I told him, I said, well, that's just not the way we would pronounce that name, but that's the way they pronounce it. In fact, I met another preacher over there. His name is Indolo, and it's spelled N-D-O-L-O. And so I'm learning that language also. Chichewa is the language that we speak there. Who's with Brother Patrick right there is also a graduate of the Memphis School of Preaching. That's Michael Gilbert. He lives in East Tennessee. He lives as far as east in Tennessee as you can go, and I live as far west in Tennessee as you can go. He lives in Newport, Tennessee, and he's a member of the Newport Church of Christ up there. He preached in Martin, Tennessee for about 8 years, I think, and then he went back home over there on the east side. But this is the team of the 2007 experience in Malawi. We had a good time, too, and we did some really good work. I'm going to try to go through some of these slides with you quickly, and so that I may be able to have 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes or so that you can ask me questions at the end of this slideshow. This is us on our way to work. You notice the roads, most of the roads look like that or worse. That's probably one of the better roads there. And we're driving through what they call a trade center. Those buildings that you see on the side of the road there, those are businesses. And that was kind of blurry, but we'll click to the next one. This is a hospital. I can't point like I'd like to with the cursor, but those two buildings back there, the hospital and that white building that you're looking at, I guess that's where they keep supplies or something at. But that's not very much of a hospital. It's not one that you and I would want to go to if we were sick, but that's a hospital, and it's in the rural, that's right outside of the rural villages where we work. Now, when I'm in Malawi, I live in the metropolis, and I go out each morning to the villages. Sometimes I travel as far as 180 miles to go where I have to preach at and teach in the rural areas. And I know that if anybody here has ever been to Africa, we kind of refer to it as the bush sometimes. And you'll probably see why. You can see why there, because in the background there, you see that all that tall grass and everything. That's where, that's what we experience going through to get to where we work. The bags that you see laying in the middle of the yard, there are bags of maize, and that's the food that we purchase and distribute while we are there. Each place that we go and preach, we take a load of food, because the people that we are preaching to, they deal with a lot of hunger, even to the point of starvation. When I go back there, and myself and my wife will be going back over there in the last week of June, which is about a month away from now. I will probably ask about somebody that I saw last year that will not be there this year because they died from starvation, and that's literary. So we're taking loads of food to each stop as we preach to these people. You see Brother Patrick with the pan in his hand right there. That's because we take candy to those children too, because the little children don't ever get candy. Our children get candy and stick it on the back seat of the car, and their children they don't ever get any candy. These men are waiting for me to give them neckties. The churches of Christ all over the country send me neckties, and I got a buckload of them waiting to go with me, because we give gifts to these members of the church. We give scarves to the women and ties to the men, and also we pass out reading glasses. We get those little cheap Dollar Tree reading glasses, and I got a lot of them last week from a church in Cortland, Mississippi. I'm real glad about that. And we'll load those up, and we take those over there and give them to them too. There's Brother Gilbert about to give the women the scarves. Brother Patrick has already given the children the candy. The men, I just got through giving the men the neckties. And you'll see me with that little hat what I got on my head there in quite a few of these clips, because for some reason the insects, they like to try to get on my bald head. so I think it's, I unconsciously, when I get through shaving my head, I always rub something on it to make it shine, and I think whatever it is that's making it shine, make it sound like food to them. So they get ready to get that thing. But here we are getting ready to leave, and we posing for a picture together after everybody's gotten what we had to give. The most important thing that we've given is the gospel. And when I'm over there, I preach 2 times a day, every single day. I do not take days off while I'm there. And the reason why I do it that way, and I'm so extreme about that, is because I only get to go there and do that for a short time. And I'm only going to get to do it for a short time of my life, the way that I feel about it, because I don't ever have enough time to give to God, because I want to give all to Him, and I mean all. And that means everything until I leave this world. We had a good time at that location. Now we had a different location here, and as you can see, Brother Gilbert is giving out Bibles. We also go to the Bible Society there, and we purchase Bibles, and we distribute Bibles to the congregations, because there's many families there that live off $1 a day. I'm not talking about one person living off $1 a day. I'm talking about families living off $1 a day. And that's extreme, they call it ultra poverty. And anybody that don't have a $1 a day, they don't have $9 to buy a Bible. Now that's half for that Bible too. That's a paperback Bible, and it costs $9 in that country, because the only time people get Bibles really is when the missionaries come there and buy Bibles to distribute to them. It's just unreachable when you're starving and you only get $1 a day as a farmer, and the Bible costs that much. This is at the well. That trail that you see right behind me, or right between me and that lady with the blue on, that trail is where the people walk down that trail to that community well to get well water to take back to their houses, because they don't have running water in the house. They don't have electricity in the house either. So I guess somebody was probably wondering, well, why am I living in a metropolis and commuting to the bush every day? Because there's no light out there, there's no electric out there, possibly no way to communicate on the phone out there most places. I don't need to be in the bush at night, because it's more than just Christians in the bush. There's some thieves out there also. And so I have to get the work done in the daytime and then get back to the guest house at night. I like taking those pictures. In 2016, I took pictures at the well also, because when we go to the well, it gives us a chance to evangelize people on our way to the spot where we're preaching at. This little girl with bare feet, she guided us through the grass that's behind us, what we see right behind us. She guided us over to where we were, and she walked back by herself through that bush to get back to her mama, about 2 miles. That's some awful tall grass. It's way taller than she is. But and there's a black mamba snake in that grass too. If anybody is familiar with who the black mamba snake is, the black mamba snake is a snake. He's not black. He's actually blue, green, or gray, but the inside of his mouth is black. And he's a very, very venomous viper. When he bites you, you die. You don't get to medical help most of the time before the poison has killed you if you get bit by that snake. And one thing that people always ask me about that is, did you see the snake? Well, no, I've never seen the snake, and I don't want to see that snake. That snake could cause me to hurt myself very bad. But I told my wife, she's going with me, I said, now I can't run from the snake, because if he try to get you, I got to fight him. So I hope we don't see the snake. All right, now here we are preaching, and can you see how they spell Church of Christ on the board there? Brother Patrick is interpreting for me. One day he's not going to have to interpret for me. I'm going to learn to be fluent in Chichewa. I'm learning every day now. He's helping me, and I'm learning at the school, and there's a program online that I use also to learn the language there. That is something really important for missionaries to do, is to learn the language. It's always been a great emphasis placed on learning the language. You're a way more effective evangelist in a foreign land when you understand their language. I said understand their language, because it's important to understand it even before you're able to speak it. The better you can understand it, the better they can communicate around you and to you, and that makes you a more effective missionary. Brother Patrick is a fine man. He's an evangelist that works all 27 districts of the country of Malawi, and in fact, he's in a gospel meeting in Mzuzu today, and he'll be there for a week, and then he'll go home and get ready to meet me. This is interesting. I'm going to talk about this a little bit. The women sit on one side, and I believe it's that side. It is. The women sit on this side, and the men sit on that side in the church assemblies, and the children sit in front of the women. And I don't know why they do it, but I do know that it is a very good discipline. It works. It makes it really good. You see the men on the other side. All of the church buildings, the windows, I know you've noticed already, they do not have any glass. Well, there's no need for glass. The weather where I preach in Malawi is weather that you don't need a coat and you don't need an air conditioner. Isn't that good? And it's like that 9 months out of the year, and the other 3 months it rains. So we have a spring 9 months and rain season. I don't know. We just however that go. But this is Brother Sumani, and Brother Sumani. I shared this with Brother Joe yesterday. That Brother Sumani, the first time I went to the church building where he preached at, it was undeveloped. It had walls and it had a floor, but the floor was kind of wavy and rocky, but it didn't have any pews and it didn't have a roof. But when we went back, the Thornton Street Church in Brownsville, Tennessee, sent with me funds to distribute to somebody who had done something very special, and that's what they wanted me to do. They said, we want you to give this to somebody that's done something really special that you can see from the time that you were there last year to the time you got back. And it was at the church where Brother Sumani, and I can tell you, I cannot pronounce the name of that village over there where he preached. But they did not have a road that went to the church when I went there the first time. You walk through a trail like we saw going to that well. And they did not have pews in there, and they didn't have a roof on there. But when we went back, those men had made a road, and the road is about a quarter mile long, and they had put the roof on the building, and they had pews in there. And we had a good time in there, and we sang and prayed and preached inside, and had a wonderful time. So we were taking Brother Sumani his monetary gift when we went there where we are now. We had him meet us at a trade center to get that gift from us. If I could click backwards, yeah. If I could click back, I have a good time over there. It looked like it makes me feel and look younger when I'm there doing this work. And it's work that I work from the time I get there until the time I leave. When I get back here, it takes me almost 2 weeks to recuperate from the jet lag and from being so tired from working like I do, because I'm energized by just being there and doing such a good, worthy work. Now, if you see that the top of that building that's red over there, that's where I live. So now that's the metropolis. It's not like I'm living in New York City or even Memphis or somewhere. It's like farms, and to see that stuff that's around me is maize that's growing there. I'm sitting right over in the middle of that, kind of like. But it is comfortable, and it's like a hotel, so it's better than being caught out in the bush at night and getting robbed or something. This is another trade center, and we're on our way to another location to preach. As you see, the streets are very crowded there. Got density of the population is tremendous everywhere we go. I took a picture of that because you see those young girls with those babies tied on their back. Teen pregnancy is bad in that country, and it's for several different reasons. And I guess I'll explain some of that now too. The girls that live in the rural, they have to walk through the bush to get to school. Sometimes they are attacked and impregnated by people unwarningly. That happens there. It is a reality, and also that's the way AIDS is spread in that country. Also, some time ago I thought that, and I had been told that AIDS was rampant in Africa just because of ignorance, but I found it to be that there's some evil in it also, a lot of evil in it, and that's how it's being spread. Well, at this place, this is another place, and this place is where we did not, one of the places where we did not have and absolutely would not have enough room to preach inside. So we had to preach outside. These men were smart enough that they made a canopy and we preached under there. But this is the kind of crowds that turn out everywhere that we preached. And there I am. I'm signing a Bible. And we're giving out, myself and Brother Gilbert, we're signing Bibles and giving out Bibles at this location also. Another thing that we take is communion cups. And I think we'll be giving out some at this location also. Some of these churches, even in the bush, are organized with elders and deacons and are growing as we speak right now, because people are hearing and believing and obeying the gospel. And I'm just glad to be a part of a fruitful work. There we are giving them some communion cups. The first time I went there, and this is why we started taking communion cups, is because the first time I went there, they gave me a communion cup to drink out of, and I was like, whoa, this thing is really dingy, but it's because they use them over and over again. And so now when I go, I buy my own. And the juice that they gave me, I didn't really trust the juice either, because if they water the juice down and I get some of their water in me, I could get a parasite that do some real bad harm to me. So now when we go to the supermarket and we buy the juice and I make the bread. And there we are unloading the truck again. Those men are getting ready to unload the truck. We preach, and then they unload the truck, and we go back to the market. That's my routine every day. I go to the market early in the morning, get the truck loaded, and I go and preach. When I get done preaching there, and they unload the truck, I go back to the market, get the truck loaded, and then I go and preach again, and they unload the truck. And then usually it's about to get dark, and I need to get on back, and I'm tired by then too. I thought I would have a picture of the chicken. There's a chicken in that story. That's the chief of a village that's in between myself and Brother Gilbert. He came to the assembly and he said, "Who are these?" He wanted to know who we were, and he had every right, and he had the authority to question that. So we told him who we were and asked him, would he take a picture with us, and he said yes. And there we are. We loaded the food inside because we were all outside where we assembled. Wasn't enough room inside. You see how big the pictures get big. I mean, the crowds get bigger and bigger. But I thought I had a picture of the chicken so I could tell you the chicken story. But anyway, that place where we were, Brother Patrick had gone there and preached for them before, and they hadn't paid him. So when we got there, they paid him with a chicken, and they paid him with a live chicken. Well, that's not the funny part. We got in the truck and got ready to go. He didn't put the chicken in the back of the truck. He put the chicken in the truck with us. I heard the chicken. I said, well, wait a minute. Brother Patrick, can you put the chicken in the back? We don't ride with chickens in the car. But that's the chicken story. And that's the road going to the guest house where I live. So, you know, we got bad roads wherever we go. It's not like we can commute on good paved highway everywhere we go. This is Sanji. I was talking to Brother Joe last night or yesterday evening about Sanji. Sanji is about 160 miles away from where I live when I'm there. However, we go down there because, as you can see, those are widows and orphans. Well, we're going down there to see. And they are so glad to see us. And those little children right there, they work in the field in order to eat. That's how they survive down there. They have to work. Even the small children, the women, the small children, and there's only a few men that's there, and they're preachers. Those men are there to conduct a good work. There they are. That's the men, and we're getting ready to preach. When I traveled down there that day, up in the highlands where I live and where we usually work in the villages in the bush over on Blantyre side, it is cool in the daytime, about 75 degrees at the most, and the breeze is so smooth and good. But when you get down here, it can get up to 120 degrees. I mean, it's extremely hot down there. That's Brother Evans. Brother Evans is the director of that work down there. Him and Brother Peter work side by side, and I think I just clicked past Brother Peter, but he's on that row. He's sitting next to Brother Evans now. Somebody told me when they got to look at that picture, they said, well, you look tired. I said, I probably was, but it's still work to be done, and it must be done. And these are young men unloading the truck. I believe this is a video. Chris, could you play it a little bit? See, Chris got control of that thing. I don't think he can play it. It won't play, Chris? Okay, we'll go ahead. I can't click something to stop me from clicking. Okay? And these are the children getting ready for Brother Gilbert to pass them out some candy. And there we go, we're clicking now. Now this is Brother Magasso. Brother Magasso is in Bangula, and Bangula is in between Blantyre and Sanji. So we went to Sanji first because it was the farthest away, and on the way back we stopped in and with another truckload to share with Brother Magasso and also to preach there. This is the mountain, and I'm making it look better. We're back to Blantyre now, and this is the suburbs of Blantyre, and it's on the mountainside where the church is built, where we are. We're actually inside the preacher's house, and that's him that's sitting there with Brother Gilbert and I, and we're sitting inside. His house is built inside of the side of the mountain, and so is the church. And he's the minister at the church there. And these are the baptisms. Chris, can you make it play? You think he say he think he can. He can make it play. I'm baptizing people here. We don't have any sound, but you'll see me dip them. Oh, listen how quiet we are. This is good. That hand don't want to go in. Oh, it's dark. But you could see it? Did you see it? Okay. Chris, can you click, well, you can't brighten that up. It's just going to be like it is, I guess. I can see it pretty good here, but that's dark. Can you all see that? Okay. Okay, let's go to the next one. And let me click. Can I click? Yeah, okay. All right. Now, I don't know how that got behind that, because that's where I was preaching before I did the baptizing. So I don't know how I did that. But that boy doesn't know either. But there we are. Oh, there's that chicken. There's that chicken in the back. We had to put the chicken in the back because Brother Patrick, and it's common, even on their public transportation, they'll take a live animal on there. They take a goat or a chicken right on the public transportation, and that's common. But we had to get Brother Patrick to put the chicken in the back. And we are at another location now, and we're getting ready to preach there. Look at the crowd. People are all out of the back door back there. And as you can see, the men on one side, the women on the other side. Here's a location. This is where Brother Patrick actually preached at himself, and we're getting ready to leave there. And these boys, those children, they're going to run behind the truck all the way down to Brother Patrick's house, which is about 2 miles, I guess. And we stopped by Brother Patrick's house, and that's how many people was at his house, because his wife have food, and where food is, you'll see people gather, and especially the children, because that's his wife shaking hands with Brother Gilbert. She's got I guess 20 or 30 children at her house every day, and this is inside the church where Brother Sumani and his brethren had put the roof on the place and put the pews in. Now, if you look how they're sitting right there, you'll see that the pews don't have any back, and the pews are made of concrete. How would you like that for one Sunday morning? And they're just as happy as they can be. That's Brother Sumani and his family, and I got to click through these quickly because I do want to give us 6 or 7 minutes for you to ask me anything you want to ask me. But that's after I gave him the gift, and we took a picture together because you could see, as you could see through the hole, but the roof is on the church. And that's the food that we left at that location. And that's us taking a picture there together. And we're at another location. And we left the food right there on the side of the road so that they could get it. And this location here, this is interesting. It's about 40 miles in the remote. I mean, really, really, really a remote, rural. And the road was so bad, I was just scared. I didn't know what where I was getting into. I got back there and I looked out and I told God, I said, God, you know I don't know where I am, but you do. And it was about 20 people there then. But the people just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming until it was almost 300 people out there. And I wasn't worried about a thing anymore. I was like, Lord, I'm right where I need to be. And I'm so grateful to be here. But I was, I don't know how these pictures get backwards. Sometimes I just do what I do. But this is when we were on our way there. These are the widows. These women have children because the young women get sick from malaria and die, and they had children, and the older women get the children. The young women also sometimes die from AIDS, and the older women get the children. So the widow's always there with children. And I got one right there in my hand that ran to me like she knew me, and I said, well, come on. And there we dropping off some more grain. Here we are. This is our last stop. And that was on a Sunday. As you notice, on Sunday, we dress in a suit. It is dark, and it's got a white shirt or a pink shirt or something bright on. And during the week, then we just dress in casual wear and go out there and preach in the bush. But I'm distributing Bibles there. And now I'm getting ready to go get on the plane and go back to Memphis. And they told me, you are at home. And I told them, I am not. I will be in a short time because I'm going to the airport now. But and that was a gob of people. Isn't that a lot of people in the street? And this is Brother Patrick. If you could hear this interview, this was our exit with him, and he was telling us how much he thanked us and sending his greetings and salutations to the churches here who helped them over there. And that's the last of our videos that I'll be showing. And now I want you to ask me anything that come to mind, and I'll be glad to answer it to the best of my ability. Anything. Yes, sir.
I noticed one of them got on long sleeve, one of them got on short sleeve.
Right.
Was the long sleeves for insect purposes?
No, sir. It's probably just what they had to wear. All of them get bit by the mosquito. A man of 50 years old has had malaria 2 or 3 times, at least. And they have malaria comparative to maybe pneumonia with us. If you get pneumonia here, we got some vaccine, we go to the doctor, we get some medicine, we get better, and it doesn't kill us. Well, they have malaria, and they get the fever, and they treat the fever, and they treat it as best that they can, and they recover from it, and then they get better. And then they'll get it again. Somewhere down the line, they'll get it again, and sooner or later, sometime it does kill them. But if we get malaria, because myself and my wife, we just came from the shot nurse the other day because we got to be immunized. If we get malaria, it'll kill us. If we drink their water, it'll possibly kill us. So we have to stay away from that. Chichewa, Pamingo Cristo is Church of Christ. Yeah, I'm learning slow. I'm learning yes, sir, and no, sir, and good morning, and all that good stuff. But it's a difficult language to learn. But I'm learning it.
When you're carrying the food every day, what kind of expense is involved in that?
We spend 122 American dollars each time we go to the market to load that truck. So that's like $240, $250 per day that we feed. That's American dollar. That would be in Malawi and Kwacha, it would be like 150,000 Kwacha. Yes, ma'am.
How heavy are those, seed bags?
They
What's it, pound bags or 100-pound bags?
100 pound. Yes.
You mentioned the government was corrupt. If they bothered you or you work?
No, I was trained in doing missionary work by some people that's been doing it a very long time, and all of those things that bring danger is the things that you need to learn first. So we got money pouches a money garment that I wear under my clothes, and it's where I keep my money. This last time that I was there, I was stopped at a road stop. They got road stops everywhere, everywhere. And it's only for corruption, to see what they can take from you if they can take something. And so I stopped at a road stop, and he wanted to see my international driver's license. And I had the driver's license in my pouch, in my clothes, with my money, with my United States government, my American currency. And they really like that. And I had to get that thing out and show him the driver's license without him seeing that money, because he would have wanted some of that money, if not all of it. But that is the kind of corruption that we have encountered there. Also, when we come out of there, we spend everything we take when we go over there, because we don't want to bring anything out of there. When we get coming out of there, the people at customs on the way out of the country are looking for anything that they may want, and they will take from you. And you're not going to be able to fight it. Just get on the plane and leave it, or you'll get detained, and it'll cost you a lot more than what you just lost. Yes, ma'am.
Giving them animal stuff like chickens and goats and stuff, that help them to have more food?
From here, no, ma'am. That would be impossible. It's so expensive, you would not even believe it. I wanted to send communion cups instead of bringing them, because they kind of get a little bulky trying to take communion cups if you want to take a lot of them. But to send communion cups, a $22 box of cups, costs $84 to ship. So that's just impossible. One man in Arkansas was saying, well, I love Brother Patrick, and I see the work that he's doing. We should buy him a car, because he got to get all around over there. He need a car. I said, well, brother, he can't drive a car. He's never driven a car. So it's the difference over there than what it is here. Sometimes it would just seem strange to us that it's even that different. But Brother Patrick is 53 years old. He did get a driver's license just last year. He told me he's going to drive me around when I come back. But I don't think so. I don't think so. See, I'll be the one that's responsible for that rental car, and I'm not going to ride around with Brother Patrick, who just got a driver's license at 54 years old. I better let me leave the driver to me. Yes. We did not. We buy the Bibles there. We have to buy the Bibles there. In their language. Yes, ma'am.
Are they able to plant their own gardens?
Yes, that's a good question. That's a good question. Most of them are farmers, and they plant enough to feed their families. Now, this is what they're up against. They're up against getting enough rain, or having adequate funds for buying fertilizer and seed, and they are also up against the armyworm. You got to get it in and get it out in time enough to beat the armyworm. Now, what we're going to do is next year, when I go over, I'm going during planting season next year, and I'm going to be there with them, because we help them with buying seed and fertilizer and pesticide, but they don't buy the pesticide, and they can't beat the armyworm. You're not going to beat the armyworm, who instinctively reacts naturally that the food is ready. He's going to eat it. And the farmer is planting the food, and he can't beat the armyworm to the harvest. Armyworm get the food first. Yeah.
What other crops can they grow?
They grow potatoes and they grow peanuts, what we call peanuts, they call ground nuts. And they grow rape, which is what we call, what is to us is greens. Yeah.
When you leave a place, is it established enough to keep going until you come back?
Yes, ma'am. That is what indigenous work is, and that we are not to parent them the whole time through. It is good for us to always be in contact with them and be available to send them relief when we need to, but they have to become self-propagating and self-sufficient. If they're not, then we're not doing the kind of work that we're intended, what our intended goal is in the missionary work there. We don't plan to continue parenting them. That's not right. It's not right to do that. And we don't want to give them more than what they can get themselves. We can help somebody, but if we give them more than what they can get themselves, we'll cause a class within the system. And if you got so much that somebody else might want to rob you, or if somebody else would start to hate you, or that you might start to look down on them, then we've done more harm than we did good. Oh, they love it. They call it, and when they see it, they don't even say candy, they just say sweets. Yeah, they're just so happy to get some candy, they just say sweet. We just give them round hard candy. We buy a big bag of round hard candy and just take it to the village when we go. No, like jawbreakers. So I'm done with this. If you have no more questions for me at this time, I'll call this concluded. Thank you.